Hey people. So I don't know how to code. So I'm just gonna start giving out these ideas that I have for free, essentially. So this is essentially like a multi-million, probably if I'm being generous, $1 billion idea. So if you want to take this on and you make it successful, my Bitcoin address is in the description. Feel free to pay me back whenever you feel like it. Um, so, as some people know, there are decentralized apps that are built on top of the Ethereum network, and so this is an app that could be built on top of the Ethereum network for construction management. So nowadays, construction is mainly managed with like online software. Like you've got Procore is pretty popular, Submittal Exchange, and the one that I'm very familiar with is Owner Insight, which I think is the best out of those three. But they're not very good, and they're very centralized, and they hoard immense amounts of data that is mainly used as a historical reference for when the owner wants to go back and look and figure, or the facility manager wants to go back and look and see what exactly was, what equipment is this, or what, something broke, so they need older parts. They can go out and look and see exactly where something is. Like if there's a BIM model, like a building information 3D model that actually has information built into it. Revit, I think, will play very well into something like this. But anyway, so the way that you're going to make money with this is, well, first off, I don't think a whole lot of decentralized apps have like a really good use case, because I mean, I played around with CryptoKitties. That's cool. You could trade, you know, limited quantities of a digital card, which was essentially like this cat or whatever that had like different costumes or whatever, and some of them were scarce and some of them, looked cool or were just totally worthless, which I kind of get. It's like online trading or something, like a trading card game or something like that. But I really haven't seen something that has real world use case that will make you rich. This will make you rich. Now, what this will do will essentially make all of those softwares obsolete. But through the tokenization of the data, that is where the money is, where the money is going to be, essentially. And then also you could probably use data analytics, like consulting services to, view the data and figure out, give information to potential clients and stuff like that. So what these programs are just databases for documents like schedules, budgets, permit documents, construction documents, images of the construction projects or progress, video, information models, and everything. So they just hoard all of that information. And so what the app, how it should operate, if I'm explaining, because like I said, I don't know how to code, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So if you know what I'm trying to get at here, please go for it. So I think that, just to start off, like the user interface for each kind of website, because each one of these can handle multiple projects. So within one wallet, you want to be able to look, or, wallet, I think might be a vague term, but you might want to be able to use that so that you can look at other wallets, aka projects, and see. That way you could, like, if you're managing one of these projects, you want to be able to have the private keys to one of those projects that you're working on. So maybe there's a Suedo private key that people actually working on the project itself can get access and edit things to, and then you have an actual private master key or something like that that can lock everyone out if needed. And then you've got your public key, which people can see, and that way when all of this data gets built into the system, people can use the public key to go in and see, like, okay, I can see this project, I can't edit anything, I can only read and download. So like when you look at somebody's wallet now on Bitcoin, you can see transactions and the number of Bitcoin that exist in the wallet now. What I'm getting at is, if something like this can be done, because I vaguely researched into uploading photos and documents onto the Ethereum network, which it seems like it's possible, but it's very convoluted for me. So if you know how to do something like that, creating a user interface, aka the wallet, if you can make it very user friendly, take the structure of those websites, and if you need consulting, I can help you because they are crap. Because I work in construction, I've used all three of these extensively, and not one of them. I mean, Owner Insight I feel like is the best. Procore, strong second. Submittal Exchange far in the last, but there's other programs like eBuilder and Prolog and whatever else, Sage, other programs that all do the same thing. So if you can standardize and create a user interface that everyone uses that is the same, then the data inputs that you're going to get are all going to be the same essentially. Some projects will not use all of the same categories, like if renovating a pool won't have all the same amount of data as building a new charter school will. So they'll have different amounts of data, and being able to differentiate between the kinds of data will be very useful. So that's why when you build the user interface, you have to be able to differentiate and to identify each different kind of document within the project wallet. And so that way, when you go to look up the data, it can be referenced based like, a budget document. So, when you build it, like Owner Insight's pretty good. They actually build a budget spreadsheet in the program for you itself, and you can modify it. So something like that as like a standard budget document that the app would have that people would use. That way there would be at least some ubiquity throughout all of the projects. That way when someone references like, hey, how much money does a 10,000 square foot, office building cost to build? And so they can go in and, use keywords or whatever to search for those things and look up about past projects that have been uploaded publicly to the decentralized network. And, it's secure because of, everyone mining, and we all know that. But how this data actually becomes valuable is because now everyone's just sitting on it, like I said. But when you actually can take tokens, or when the data is uploaded and you can tokenize it, then you can say like, I have, maybe it's not specific to a project, or maybe it is. Maybe if you say I have one builder token, then that equals one project, and I have ownership of that project's data. Or perhaps, there's all of the data, and that one, I'll just call it builder token or whatever, that represents a fraction of all of the data. So there's different ways that I think you could go about it, but because of I think you're going to find a lot of legal battles with this, because but if they voluntarily upload the data, then it's they're choosing to do that. But I think that with the legal hurdles that you'll have to overcome, I just, if you can find a way, because I was going back into ownership, because if that one token represents that one project, then that whoever owns that token actually owns the data for that project, and that could, you might get into legal battles with something like that, but at least that's some, a starting point, because there's a lot to figure out here. And so that's mainly the value prospect for the token. And as more data is added to the app, or maybe this is its own chain, maybe it's not built on top of Ethereum, maybe it's an actual separate token, a builder token or what have you, or a coin, and it will increase in value as more people put in data to the app, as more people use it. And the advantage that it will have over those systems is that, one, it's monetized. You can monetize it, it's monetized instantly, and two, the decentralization of the data itself is very valuable. And three, being able to cross-reference and do data analytics for each different kind of project, historical data. I mean, yes, those programs have something like that, but it's not like, you're not going to be able to share, like Procore is not going to share data with the public about the projects that they've managed. It's just not going to happen. But if you can the incentive is that when people start using this, like if they buy the token as this is where it gets interesting. So if the project produces a token as data is being implemented into the project, and maybe the token has an identifier to specify that it belongs to that project maybe, but the incentive for like the owner who is paying for the product, paying for the construction project, might be that when the data itself is entered into this app, that they will have value that will increase in over time, more valuable, because of the tokenization of the data. So like, and like, if it's just the data for the project, maybe adding more data to that one project wallet or whatever adds value. And then I think the wallet itself will also have to be able to hold the token, of course, but the wallet I think will have to have dual functions of holding data, documents, pictures, or whatever, and actually like store the token or coin itself. So that way you can trade and move it. So it's going to be a specialized thing. But like I said, this is the very first world use case that I can think of that people would actually use. I mean, it's huge. The construction industry is absolutely massive, and imagine like you can't go to Procore and like find a project in a few states over away and try and get that data, because that the information from that project might be valuable. But if it's on a decentralized app, then everyone can just go on to the there's Blockchain Explorer for Bitcoin. Everyone can just go on to the Builder Explorer and find information about past projects that people have done. Maybe you're trying to build another school and you want to look up what other schools, how much they've cost, what problems that they may have run into. It's like meeting minutes maybe on the app as well. And it's not only that you could just upload the data itself, it's because these are a user interface, and that's the key part. If you can create a really, really good user interface for this kind of thing, it's going to make it easier for good old boys in the construction industry who are just really old and behind the times. You can barely get them to send an email. That will make it easier for them to adopt, because most everyone now, even in the construction world, uses a smartphone. So at least we've gotten our foot into the door there. So if you can build an app that would also be able to connect with your smartphone, and then just make it really easy and simple to upload and to create meeting minutes, or create a schedule, or build a budget, or upload documents or pictures or videos, or an information model. If you can make that really easy for people to do, especially people that just aren't really good at using technology because they just don't have the time or energy to actually learn, then it'll make it much easier for them to adopt. And so there's a lot that can go on here, because there's just so much information that goes into building construction. One of the other things is because I thought that Ethereum might be a good way to start this, is because of the smart contracts. So like when you're hiring, like say your architect, we use mainly what's called AIA documents, the American Institute of Architects. And so I think you'll need to have, because there's always legal lawyers that want to get in and make edits to the documents. And so not only will the wallet have to be able to upload documents and to keep them there, but you may have to have a working documents feature that maybe two people can work on it and then close it. I mean, because there are some programs like Bluebeam that can do shared documents, and Bluebeam's pretty good about it actually. It's different than these programs, but if you can create a way for the blockchain to create working documents between two people that can actually edit and save, and then create perhaps a function that people could once everyone's agreed and the documents are signed, the contracts are signed, then it goes to like a state of finalization or whatever, and it gets uploaded and permanently secured on the chain itself. So there are so many things that go into this, but like I said, if you know how to code, if you're somewhat familiar with the construction industry and you are familiar with blockchain technology, this is a multi-million-dollar idea, perhaps multi-billion-dollar idea, because some of those tokens out there on that you can look on CoinMarketCap are absolutely worthless. I look at like one of them was like Cassia or something like that. I forget what it starts with a K, but it seemed to have, the whole point of the token seemed to be like you get tokens for writing reviews. Really? Like I mean, I guess it's monetizing your time and, your input into the system, but it's already a multi-billion-dollar token and it doesn't do anything. Like, it's just being hyped up. So create something that people will actually use and will actually have real world value. I guarantee you this will be one of the top 20, 30 coins. It'll definitely be a multi-billion-dollar coin. I guarantee it. If you know how to do this, if you know how to code and build, and maybe you even have a starting point, perhaps you're familiar with one of those programs, or if you need me to help, I'm glad to help. I'm not going to take any commission, but I'm glad to help somebody create this, because I just truly believe in it, and I just don't know how to code. It's just not my forte. I'm into construction project management. That is what I'm good at. I've done that for several years now, so I understand that, and I have an affinity towards blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And I've got 2 out of the 3, and I need that third who perhaps has blockchain technology experience and coding experience. So then I can bring in the third, or perhaps we have another person. I think we can do this, and I really do believe that this will be a multi-million-dollar, if not billion-dollar coin token or whatever. So just one of my first ideas. So if anyone out there would like to give it a shot, go for it. And if you would like to pay me, like I said at the beginning of the video, I think this is going to be a multi-million-dollar idea. Bitcoin address is in the description of the video. I would much appreciate it. So I'll make another one. See you later.